Big up, guys. What's good? What's good? It's your boy back again using my phone. How is everyone doing today? I hope you are well. Big up to Alien Red Devils in the chat. Rasta Stocks. Big up to Stretford Gamer. What's good? What's good? Sorry about that, guys. But here's a food for thought, guys. What are your thoughts in the comments? Check out the poll, guys. The question is as stands on the thumbnail. I have to thank my boy, Uncle, the ancestor. The big up to Uncle for asking that question last night on the Reckless Delegates, and KG for bringing it up today again this morning. And I was interested in hearing what you guys think. If you guys may not have seen, the Reckless Delegate stream, and I wanted to have your say about it. What are your thoughts in the comments? Who benefits from Ten Hag system, guys? Now, I'm a Ten Haginer. Everyone knows it. You know what I mean? So it's me asking the question generally because everyone's opinion matters. Whether you're Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out, you're in doubt. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts? How do you feel about that? What do you think is the real situation? You know what I mean? Like, who you think really is at fault for what's currently happening at Manchester United, guys? Let me know in the comments, because for me, I would say that the attack benefits, in my honest opinion, is just that they haven't been clinical, which highlights the fact that, it's not working well. You know what I mean? In some instances, it doesn't mean that it's not working, but it means that, we're not seeing the output, is what I think, to be honest and fair. And when you look at everything, all things considered, I feel like it exposes the weaknesses in the team that we have otherwise, like in the midfield. Also, what I would say in terms of in the defense as well, with the goalkeeping as well, because at the same time, if we don't score goals and other teams have the same amount of chances and then they turn out and come to score the goals, then what really does it do? What does it really do for us? Does it show that things are working, or does it highlight things aren't working properly? You know what I mean? I think that's the interesting thing. Let me read your comments. I could only read it out, guys. I can't really put it up on the screen right now. It won't allow me to show the comments on the stage. Big up, but you know what I mean? Big up to you guys coming in. I see Harry Potter is saying ETH will be gone by December. He isn't, over his heads. The club is too big for him. I almost feel sorry for him. He looks like a deer in the headlights. Woo! Why do you think that, bro? Tell me, give me an example. Tell me what makes you think that, you know what I mean? I'm not disagreeing with you, but I would like to know more. I would like to know more. Big up to Frank, glory, Man United, brother. Hope you're well. Big up to Admiral Drex in the building. What's good, homie? Hope you're well. Brendan Chappell is coming in. The problem is that we're too direct, and therefore don't force the opposition into mistakes that we can exploit. It's too predictable and easy to defend against. Now, I won't disagree there. But there were some moments that I feel like, if you look at the Liverpool game, and I know some guys were talking about it, so I was watching it back. That's why I was late. You know what I mean? And I was saying to myself, there were some moments that we exploited and we put Liverpool in trouble because we got in behind their defense. But the biggest problem was we didn't, create anything much from it. We weren't clinical about it. We weren't, we didn't really exploit them like they would have exploited us. Is this a problem on the manager, or is this the player who is not showing his part of the deal? At the end of the day, like we have to examine the situation. Like, everyone is there to do a job, but when it comes down to the top teams in world football, all the players have a responsibility, and most of the reasons why they're at the top teams is because they have that X factor. Where is our X factor up front? You know what I mean? Rashford is misfiring right now. Joshua Zirkzee is still getting up to match fitness. Alejandro Garnacho is not match fit as yet. Ahmad is having his first real season as a starter. It's going to be a situation where we might have to have patience for it to work. You know what I mean? And Harry Potter is coming back and saying an example. What about last season? Well, when you have so many injuries in your squad, first of all, it's one of those things where you can't really blame the situation. You already have to understand that it's going to be more of picking up where you left off. Big up to Drex for coming in the building. Big up, broski. You know what I mean? So in my honest opinion, when I look at it like that, it's one of those things where I say to myself, listen, last season was terrible, but it's not a situation where it's something that we could really say is a normal happening. It's something that could happen every season. That's a really, really, really exigent circumstance. When we were bits broke going into the transfer window, we couldn't even bring in a proper defensive center back to come into the squad. You know what I mean? That would play the manager system. You know, we got Johnny Evans. You know what I mean? We did change the system and bring in Onana ahead of the game. I think that was a bad decision, but we wanted to play out from the back. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest problem. At the same time, you have to look at it from the perspective that, yeah, we are Manchester United. We want to win things. How do we go from where we are to where we want to be? And in any reflex, guys, in any way you look at it, it's going to take some time. Now, we could focus on how other teams are doing who don't even have the same amount of, how would I put it, pressure or expectations from their fan base or their clubs. I mean, genuinely, every single team goes into the Premier League wanting to win the league. Not everyone can. Some people might finish in the bottom 10 consistently for seasons upon seasons. Do their fan base say, you know, they're not good enough? They do. At the same time, they have different expectations. They hope to win game by game. Man United is one of the best clubs in English football, so every game we must win. We must be in the top. We are always at the top topic for conversation. No matter if we're winning or we're losing, we're still the topic because we are the biggest. And that's a bit of a double-edged sword at this time because currently, if you look at the last decade, guys, we've been rubbish, man. We haven't really won anything in 6 years before Eric Ten Hag came there. What were we? Fallen giants, they said. You know what I mean? And to be fair, guys, like I honestly, I'm not trying to back the manager. I'm not trying to say the manager doesn't deserve reproach. But what I'm trying to say is if we look at the club holistically over the last 10 years, bro, we haven't been that club. We haven't been there. We've not been winning trophies. We've not been having the best players over the last, you know, in the seasons. We've not been, you know, doing anything. Yeah, we did well in the league, but then we didn't even win a small cup. Now we're winning a small cup, and it's not good enough. We want to win the league. Now, I'm saying we could win the league. Yes, this is the manager's third season, and it just began. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you have to look at how it is, and in the sense of there are players that are coming into the squad, Mazraoui, De Ligt. This is their first 3 games in a brand new team, in a brand new country, in a brand new league. They're not really, you know, in tune with the defenses yet. You know what I mean? With the other players in the squad, sure, they trained together for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? But that's not enough time for you to gain chemistry with your teammates. You know what I mean? Maguire should start, but mad advanced, bro. How many people would agree with us when we say Maguire should have started? They would be mad because everyone in the game against Brighton said De Ligt should start. They crucified Ten Hag for not starting De Ligt against Brighton. And at the same time, they don't want favoritism. Which is it? Because favoritism, we know De Ligt is Ten Hag's player. Maguire was in decent form from the first 2 games. Why didn't he start the 3rd game? I think favoritism sometimes is a little bit. I'm not saying he would have stopped the 3 goals. Brendan, big up for that. I'm saying that, you know what? It might have been a situation where, you know, it may not have been 3 goals. Because that first header, yo, Maguire, if it's one thing that brother is good at, is the air. And he might have sniffed out that header, bro. I'm telling you. Weirdly enough. You know what I mean? I think that, to be fair. But they might have still scored 3 goals. Might have been 3 different goals. But at the same time, we could never know now because the situation is what it is and it can be changed. You know what I mean? Adeyeri is saying, hi, Mark, how are you? I blame Darren Eagles for the poor transfer window of Newcastle. United sack Darren Eagles out of Newcastle now and bring back Amanda, a CEO of Newcastle United. Ray. Bro, I don't know what you mean, bro. And if you're talking about Newcastle's management, bro, we can't help you there, bro. This is a Manchester United situation. I don't know too much about that, but, you know, if your woes are woes, I'm happy for it, brother. Sorry, power to you. Big up to your team as well, but, you know, I want to finish above you. I'm not going to lie about that. Maguire would have made it 4 with a stunning own goal, says Harry Potter. Big up, bro. Big up. Sometimes our manager, it does blue favorites. I mean, it does feel like it in some occasions. Like I hear some people saying he's showing a lot of favoritism in Onana Why does he not bench him? Well, I think this season that will change. The reason why I didn't expect him to be benched much last season is because you just change a goalkeeper. We've all seen it with Manchester United. How many goalkeepers we went through before we got to David De Gea, bro? It was like about 4. I think it was like 4 or 5. You know what I mean? We had some dark days in the goalkeeping department. It's a situation it's always hard to resolve at Manchester United for some strange reason. You know what I mean? This is not just on Ten Hag. Now, while I don't appreciate, I mean, I've never wanted Onana. I'll put my hands up and say I never wanted the guy. And after a few games last season, everybody knows I was Onana out. I'm thinking about jumping back on the Onana out train. But I would say this, fair to the guy, you know what I mean? At the same time, you know, I feel like we did concede way too many shots last season, which might have been part of the reason he conceded so many goals. He also did have the most saves in the Premier League as well, probably because he was facing so many shots. So that's where the argument gets a little bit dicey, guys, because then from his perspective, if he doesn't have to save as many shots, maybe he would do better. I can't disagree, bro. I cannot disagree with what he's saying there in that perspective, bro. You know what I mean? If I think about it from his perspective. So what I'm going to say is this. If he has a bad 10 games where he concedes some weak goals consistently, I think I would give Bayern there a chance. That's me being honest. And I wouldn't be too surprised if Ten Hag does the same, because at the same time, he's had his first season. He's been backed by the manager. And this season, he has to deliver. And if he doesn't, and he's conceding weak goals, then obviously we have a backup goalkeeper that will have to be given a chance. He's also a young guy. Maybe he could do better. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, bro, I agree with you. I do miss De Gea, but at the same time, we're living in the future right now. And, you know, living in the past is just going to make it worse. You know what I mean? When we think about all the things we could have had or could have done or could have won or could have this, right now we have to think about what we can do, what we can affect, and what can happen going forward. That's the only way we can look at things right now, because if we keep looking at what's gone and what we don't have anymore, it's like me with Mason Greenwood, bro. I'm trying to move on from talking about it because it just makes me depressed. When I look at the right-hand side, it's decent, but it's nowhere near good enough. And if we had that guy, I could close my eyes and know that we're going to score at least 2 goals every single game. If he's not scoring one, he will be contributing one. And yes, Yeli Tenraula is supposed to be improving the goalkeeping department. He's supposed to be improving the playing out style from the back as well, along with Rennie Hacker. And I think it's going to take some time. We have a brand new coaching staff, guys. Big up to you, Jim Watkins. Hope you're well, my brother. Big up to you. Big up to you. Yeah, bro. Thanks for watching, bros. Thank you for always supporting the thing, bro. You know what I mean? And for me, guys, I look at it from the perspective where I read some articles last season. I did cover it on one of my earlier streams when I just started the channel. Erik Ten Hag was in a press conference last season talking about some of the young players who left the club. And what's interesting for me is when he said about the young players who left the club, he was talking about the fact that some of them he would have liked to kept on. But the fact that the structure before him, before Ineos, had already pre-agreed to sell and loan some of these players, and the situation was beyond him. And Kova was one of those players. So it's one of those things that when I look back at it, we could blame the manager when we really and truly should be blaming the likes of John Murtaugh and Richard Arnold for all their stupidity over the last years, along with the other one who was there before them, John Murtaugh. You know what I mean? Ed Woodward, these guys, their madness was literal madness, guys. It was not positive. It was always a facade, something to make us feel good. But later on, when we get down from the high, it's like drinking a Red Bull, bro. I don't do that, but at the same time, I hope you guys don't drink any Red Bulls or energy drinks as well. It's really bad for you. I have to say that, guys. But you know what? Someone might believe me. It's just my honest opinion. You know what I mean? And yeah, big up to you, Never Miss Rob. Hope you're well, buddy. Question: what has Casemiro going out on loan? That I won't say that, bro, because I'll say it to you like this. If Casemiro is to go on loan to Galatasaray, they're going to expect us to pay 200K of his wages. United are not in any position and will not be accepting any situation that they're going to pay for one of their current squad members to go out and play for another club. And that includes Anthony. And a lot of people are reporting the news as though Casemiro is refusing to go, Anthony is refusing to leave, when true and in fact, it's far from that. You know, why would United and put Anthony out on loan, put Casemiro out on loan, and pay 200K of each of their wages for them to play for two different teams in Turkey and have no one to replace them because the transfer window is closed, guys. The transfer window is closed. It closed last week, Friday. You know what I mean? So it's a weird one, guys. It's a real weird one. The way people are coming up with these perspectives that, you know, we could loan Casemiro out and bring in Rabiot. Rabiot's on a free, we could bring him in. But who are we going to bring in to replace Anthony if Anthony goes? We're going to have two on the right wing and one on the left wing. Or we're going to put Xerxes as a left wing option. What are we going to do there? You know what I mean? Because up front, there's only Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmed, and Anthony. Sancho's gone. We have 4 wingers, guys. We have 4 competitions to play. Europa League is 8 games. 4 games at home, 4 games away. All that happens before January 31st. We have FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and Premier League. Bro, what are we doing? You know what I mean? We already sold and move on so many players. I don't see exactly, bro. It makes no sense talking. It makes no sense. You know, like it's one thing. You know, I understand that we have more players that we would like to be moved on. I understand that we have more players that we should have signed. We missed out probably on a left back. I would agree with that statement. At the same time, when you look at it from that perspective, how we missed out from a left back, I feel like we have to understand that it's one thing already where we did move on and sell a lot of players. We did bring in some signings. Of course, it's not what we wished, all of it. You know, we did cover a lot, to be fair. You know what I mean? We did cover a lot. You know what I mean? And that's the fair comment, guys. You know, they did buy a lot of players. They bought 5, including if you add in the 4 youngsters that came in, that's almost 10 players that come in that will possibly be featuring in Man United's team over the next 18 months. You know what I mean? We did sell like about 20 players, youngsters, including some first teamers, like about 6. We lost 1 or 2, Martial and Varane. Yeah, guys, you know, it's going to be a rebuild. It's going to be a long situation. You know, I would look forward more to what we possibly could do in the January window to strengthen this team. You know, if more players could move on, more players could come in, I think that's more positive. You know what I mean? There is no system. Hold on. What's that comment? Luman saying there's no system of ETH. We were fooled for 2 years about ETH ball, and now we're about ETH system. I don't think so, Luman. I think in the first season we're never really going to play ETH system based on the fact that most of the players either wouldn't have gotten the system or they just weren't fit for the system. You know what I mean? Not everyone can play any system. You can't just change it. It might work in some situations, but not every player is the same. And this is what people keep forgetting, in my honest opinion. Jim Watkins is saying, sadly, Casemiro had a great first season. Last season was bad, and this season so far, bad. Actually, Jim, I don't disagree there. Although I would say he's been helped by the referees into having a bad season last season. Some of their calls have been pretty suspect, in my honest opinion. But yeah, you can't escape the fact that he has been making lots of mistakes recently, and that needs to change. You know what I mean? You have to look at the circumstances. Whoever thinks there's nothing like ETH ball, just go watch any random match of Ajax 2019. I would agree with that. Ronan said we sold 17 players, signed 6 first-team players, and 2 academy players. Exactly, bro. Like, and imagine people are still saying that, you know, we didn't do enough. When I'm pretty sure the maximum predicted player signings would have been like 4, maybe 5. You know what I mean? And they also was not expecting to sell 17 players guaranteed. Maybe the max they said was like 7 or 8. And look at that, bro. That's an interesting return on players moving out and moving in, to be fair. You know what I mean? Football Fan Zone is saying if Ten Hag doesn't get the sack in the next 5 games, he should change the system. Yeah, let's wait to see how Ugarte and the other guys come into the team, and let's see how it works before we keep saying change the system. Sometimes you really need to explore the options before you just change everything. I think it wouldn't work like that. Success is not always linear. Sometimes it has trial and error. And yeah, you do try something, you know what I mean? And but if you change the variables and you try it again and you change the variables and try it again, you pretty much at some point will come up to a formula that works. You know what I mean? And I really think it's a matter of patience. And everybody, when the manager said, I will always repeat this season, guys. The manager said at the beginning of the season, we are not entirely ready for the season, but we will do our best to compete in each and every game and every competition because we want to win. Everyone laughed at the manager. Now they're saying they're having all these complaints. Why? He told you guys he was honest. He told you everything you needed to know in that sentence. We are working on it. We are work in progress. You know what I mean? And I do agree. Not everyone should have patience. It's your right and your choice. But at the end of the day, the reality is the reality. No matter what you say, you know what I mean? No matter what I say, you know what I mean? My opinions might seem more positive. Your opinions might be positive in your own view. And at the same time, I don't disagree because we can agree to disagree. And that's great. The big and Never Miss Rob is saying all these excuses, ETA system is wrong, and there's some bro, let me tell you, working on your coach's badges, you're not the only one, buddy. And because you have that opinion doesn't mean you're the right one either, buddy. And this is what I will say to all those people who think because 80% of people say that the system is wrong. Well, the average age of the average IQ level of some countries, right, is 80. 80 points, right? The average. That's the masses. So the minority is the people who are above 100, right? Does that make the people with 80 foolish, bro? It doesn't. You know what I mean? So it's like they could be wrong, just like they could be. It happens. Sometimes not everyone sees the vision. I mean, sometimes when you make a plan and people look at your plan and look at the things that you're doing, they're like, "What are you doing?" Because they don't see your vision, and it's okay because you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think everyone needs to understand that because hypothetically, bro, not because you can't see Ten Hag's vision means it's foolish. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean you're foolish either. It just means that you don't understand what he's trying to do, which is normal. I think that's perfectly fine. In lots of situations, I don't understand what lots of people are trying to do. But when they find their success, you understand that because it led to their success. You know what I mean? And sometimes it takes time. It's not always one day. It's not always 2 days. Sometimes it's 3, it's 4, it's 5. You know what I mean? That's my honest opinion. Sadiq Rahman says we are rebuilt and we should be mature to give Eric more time. 100% broski. I would agree with that comment because at the end of the day, if anyone could argue with me on this, most people would agree and say this is our first major step in rebuilding the squad this summer. And if that's a general consensus that most fans had the opinion of, they can't be mad in the first 3 games because the squad is being rebuilt. And since the squad is being rebuilt, it's going to take time for the squad to see who's the best 11. Because I don't think we've seen our best 11. I think the people who are starting, some of them are starting based on the fact they started last season and based on the fact that they have been performing well in training. That could change over the course of the next 7 games. And the team could start winning, and there could be a new starting 11, minus 1 or 2 or maybe 3 players that we think should be starting, and then we're winning. So why is that the situation? Why can that not be a positive thing? Football Fan Zone is asking, one question mark, do you think that Ten Hag system is exposing players, yes or no? Well, I don't really think any system doesn't expose players, bro. And if you want me to highlight it, I will draw a comparison to the Liverpool system. Last season, the Liverpool system would have said to be exposing Trent Alexander-Arnold for the fact that he's not good at defending. You can tell me if I'm wrong. But somehow, because Arne Slot has slowed the system down, it stopped exposing Trent's weakness as a poor defender this season. so far in the first two games. Now, because Arne Slot has slowed the Klopp system down, Liverpool seem so much more in control of possession. I think that's direct correlation. You know what I mean? So if you look at Ten Hag's system and you look at some of the players playing in the system, ever since last season, we were thinking we needed a more mobile defensive midfielder. Now, Casemiro is a top defensive midfielder, but he's not as mobile as he was before. So in my honest opinion, how I would address that situation or how I would react to that and say is that if we switch Casemiro to an 8 and we put Ugarte there, wouldn't the system stop exposing most of the players? Because now they would have a mobile 8 in the position, a mobile 6 in this position where he needs a mobile 6. Answer me that. You know what I mean? Big up to Jim Watkins coming in. True, Mark, 100%. It's also okay to disagree and have different opinions. Sometimes what you see is right. It's different to what I see. It's right. It's only football talk and not serious life issues. Thank you, my brother. Big up to you. Power to you, my brother down under. As always, 100%. We can't defend Leacher bad performance. 100%. It's the same thing. Like, look, we can't. Leachers have been having a bad start to the season. No one's saying, look at Leacher. Look at Leacher. We're saying, look at Casemiro, bro. And in the first 30 minutes of that game, Casemiro is one of the best players on the pitch, in my honest opinion. Up until he conceded the goal that was the second goal, right? I think Casemiro's having one of the best games in midfield. So it's really weird, guys. It's really subjective. It's all about moments in football. And of course, we don't want these players to be making these critical mistakes or consistent mistakes. Now, can they fix it? I would say yes. And the reason why I would say yes is because if you look at the statistics from last season, guys, and you look at the statistics from this season, we have certainly cut out half of the amount of shots that the goalkeeper faces. We have cut out half of the amount of passes that, you know, the opposition gets into our box. You know, so we have created more consistent attacks going forward. So they're fixing problems, you know what I mean? And, you know, obviously in between there might be some hiccups, might be some mistakes, some errors. And I think it's a work in progress. And I feel like when I say that, a lot of people listen to it and be like, how long is it going to be a work in progress? Which is a good question as well. But I can't really tell you how long it's going to be a work in progress. That's up to the players. Because if you look at the manager could give these players 10 options and base options on situations. But at the end of the day, they have to decide as players which option they're going to choose. And from there, you know, the domino effect happens. Because let's take it, for example, Marcus Rashford. They would say that Marcus Rashford is being told to cut in and shoot every single time. And I don't believe it, because why would Delo be bombing down and creating an overlap 10 times? Obviously, it's to provide an option for Rashford to use the overlap. Does Rashford use the overlap? Not always. He should be using the overlap half as many times as there's an overlap, but he uses it less than that. And I think that's a highlight of, you could say, well, listen, the manager's tactics are getting them into the situation, but sometimes the players' decisions are taking them out of the good situation, which make the tactics look bad. Wouldn't you agree to that? Let me ask you guys, would you agree to that? Lemmer's Rob is saying we are looking at everyone. Funny thing about the fan base is we say look at Casemiro and someone say look at eacha. Both are not good. Let's handle at one time. 100%, I agree with that. At the same time, I think if you look at it, Leacher is having a time adjusting to playing with the lit, which I think it was always going to happen. Now, in a sense, I think, you know, that may have affected a little bit of the concentration or combination of Leacher and Casemiro as well. Although they had a better partnership in previous seasons, the fact that he's adjusting to the lit while having to maintain his partnership with Casemiro, it's making things difficult for Leacher. And he will learn. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to blame them all. I'm going to say, look, it's a team situation. And we don't have the right chemistry balance yet. Now, it's something that they're going to learn. And the reason why I say they're going to learn is because none of the players played with De Ligt and Mazraoui before the first two games. It's going to take time for them to understand them. You know what I mean? De Ligt has not come into the club match fit. Mazraoui did, and it shows with his performances. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with Joshua Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee needs a few more games playing with these guys to get his match fitness right, to get his chemistry right. You know, also for Bruno, also for Rashford, because they have a fair knowledge of Zirkzee from training, but it's not enough, and it's gonna take some time, guys. And I feel like we need to be willing to understand and be prepared to have a little patience, if not anything else, this season. And the reason why I keep saying that is because we have that new structure in place. They decided to back this manager. They took the time to come in. They went and they looked at all about 5 or 6 other managers. They interviewed them and they decided against sacking Ten Hag. Now, the fact that they decided to keep Ten Hag means that they're going to back him. And I can guarantee you they're not going to sack this guy before the end of the season. And that would, i.e., means there's no chance of Champions League. There's no chance of top 4. There's no chance of winning the Europa League. Those are the reasons why they're going to sack him. Also, if he gets knocked out of the FA Cup again. So I'm saying to you guys, you know, rather than jump in and hope that it's going to be sacked in the next 10 games, which is unrealistic, you know, think about it from the perspective that, you know, maybe we should support the team so that they do better, so that they know the fan base is behind them, whether they make mistakes or not. For now, we're going to support them because we believe that they're working towards something, you know. And Biku Talks is coming in, my brethren, my Liverpool brethren, is saying that, you know, sell Onana, you guys need better. I don't disagree there at all, bro. I never wanted the guy. I'll be honest, I'm supporting the guy because you know what, he's a Manchester player and we have to give him a chance. It was his first season last season. So I'm giving him a chance. I'm giving him a chance. But it's not looking good for him right now, bro. It's not looking good. He needs to do much better right now, guys. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, guys, while I don't disagree with you, and while my view is equally as important as yours, right? But I'm speaking on your views and my views, and respectfully, they're of equal value. We are all Manchester United fans. We want the team to be the best that they can be, and that's a fact. No matter which face you look at, no matter if it's in the chat or in this chat, the previous chat, or any future chat, it's going to be a face of a football fan that wants Manchester United to win just like you. They might have different views, different things that they notice, different players that they like, but that doesn't change anything because we are united. It's in our name to be together as one, as a fan base. You know what I mean? But it comes a time when we should be fans and supporters, guys. Supporters of a team that we are fans of. Supporters of players that play for the team that we are fans of as well. Whether you're in, the manager out, player in, player out, you don't like this player, you don't like that player. There's a point in time as fans, we need to support this team. Because then where are they going to get the confidence to do their best? Now, it might not be, people might say the manager should, but, you know, players really get their confidence from playing in front of fans, knowing that these fans are singing, clapping, and chanting for them. That's why fans are in the stadium, because players need you. Players need you more than you need them. But it's such a synergetic situation and symbiotic that, you know, it seems like we need them more than they need us. But it's really the opposite way around, because we give them the energy to perform better. You know what I mean? We make it all count. We are the chairs. We buy the kits. You know what I'm saying? So think about it from that perspective, guys. It's a handshake. We got to do our part. Big up the Drex coming in. Why don't the ETH outers wait for what they believe will happen to happen? Until then, throw a bit of positive energy towards the football club you support. 100%, broski. 100%. Big up to G Wolf coming in. Sadik is coming in saying, I can see Eric surprise a lot of our supporters, Mark. I think once we start winning, these same supporters will back him. Bro, that's how it works. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be mad at fans who come out and they criticize some things that they don't like week in, week out. They should do that. They are fans. You know what I mean? If they back the manager, better for it. If not, so be it. It's just how it is, bro. You know what I mean? And I might just leave it at that. Rasta Sox is saying, I really think we need to rotate goalkeepers. Now, rotating goalkeepers is not a regular thing, bro. Most clubs only rotate goalkeepers in like really, you know, cheap competitions and when there are injuries. You know what I mean? Really and truly, that's only when clubs rotate goalkeepers. It happens everywhere. You know what I mean? But I do think this season, if Onana form doesn't improve and he keeps letting in goals in the first 10 games, like weekly, in this first 10 games that we're going to have, then maybe we should consider dropping him for a game or two for buying there. Because understand this, guys, when you bench a goalkeeper, it's not a 1 game situation. It's not a 3 game situation. It's a 5 to 10 game situation. You know what I mean? So I think if we were to bench Onana, it would have to be sometime when the Europa League starts. That way, there's 2 competitions because he would then have to keep. He would be then responsible for one and buying there for the other. And I think maybe, just maybe, that might be the road we might take. Maybe buying there is the goalkeeper for the Europa League. Let's see how it goes. I have a hunch that buying there is keeping for the game against FC20. What are you guys thinking? He might even be keeping for the game against Barnsley. You know what I mean? Jim Watkins is coming in. I prefer that we did not sell David De Gea. He is world class. Well, he was when we had him. Barring some mistakes, Onana makes a lot more, and the players around him don't help. Well, another thing, Jim Watkins, I think a lot of the players had faith in David De Gea. They had faith knowing that he does make mistakes, but he would come up big and make a save when they make a mistake. And a lot of people, they don't talk about this. I think the defense having faith in their goalkeeper behind them to stop a shot is huge in a football. I don't know if it's just me. I played under 17 and under 20, but at under 17, if I made a mistake and the defender behind me made a mistake and it's left to the goalkeeper and you're chasing back, but that guy's already there and the goalkeeper makes a save, you get an extra boost of energy, bro. You get that kick up, that fire up you that says to you, hey, oh, yo, guys, just some quick news. FC20 just lost 4-2 to Fortuna Dusseldorf right in the city, right down the street from me, bro. Big up, put the Fortuna Dusseldorf. It's the home team of this city where I'm living right now in Germany. They just beat up the team that we're facing in our opening UEL match 4-2. They play German second league. Well, that means hopefully we should be beating FC20. I will check. I will go rewatch that game to make sure it's some starters from FC20 and it's not the youth team. But we'll revisit that tonight, guys. So we'll come in and talk about that later. Big up to halftime with Vegeta. This is my face when I see that video title, bro. Because bro, I had to ask the question. You know what I mean? Uncle gave a brilliant question this morning, and I had to come in and ask the same question because I wanted to hear what everyone has to say. Because like John, I do believe that the wingers and the attack benefits a lot from the system. The problem is they're not clinical. You know what I mean, Vegeta? But what are your thoughts, bro? Because you just came in, and you know what I mean? If you want, you could come in and close the show. I'm not sure if you have the time. If you have the time and you can come in, just let me know, and I'll let Drex drop the invite for you, bro. Let me know in the comments if you have some time. You know what I mean? The streets are saying, what are the streets saying? Well, the streets are saying that, you know what, right now, Eric Ten Hag has a few games left before he gets sacked. I mean, that's what the street is saying. What I am saying is, I don't think any of us is going to sack the manager before the end of Christmas or before we have no chance of making top 4 and the Champions League next season or the Europa League. So I think it's not going to happen before January. What else I do think the streets are saying is that FC20 just lost to Fortuna Dusseldorf. Power to them, 4-2. Hopefully it's their starting 11, so I could come in and we could banter that later on tonight. But I'm not sure yet. I didn't watch the game. I was just keeping tabs on the scores and seeing what was happening. It's a club friendly that's happening between them and the city, my team in the city. Now, what are the streets saying? The streets are saying Casemiro to Turkey. Well, think about it like this. That's not really realistic. Oh, I have to check the poll. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me check the poll. Hold on. Let's see the poll. Let's see the poll. I'm not actually seeing the poll, bro. So if you could, drop it. Come in and jump in, Vegeta. Jump in, bro. Jump in, bro. Big up, big up. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Key, let me to fear the striker at United is benefiting, but it's at the cost of the. Yeah, bro. I agree with that. I agree with that. That's exactly what I'm saying because, if they don't score the goals, Vegeta, bro, it makes it really difficult for for us to even kind of put the other team in check. You know what I mean? I feel like all the other like when you put them when we don't score and the other teams get their chances, if they do score now, the defense is under pressure, the midfield is under pressure. The opposing team is more comfortable now because they already a goal up. They can see our disarray, and now they can just focus on doing what they do best, attack. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a symbiotic situation. That, when we get our chances, we need to finish them. The attack needs to take some of the pressure off of the rest of the team. If the attack can remain clinical and score the goals, the chances that are created for them, then I think it gives us a little bit more balance in the game because then the midfield of the opposing team has to worry about being bricked upon. The defense of the opposing team have to worry about conceding a second time, and it also gives them that little bit of that doubt in the back of their minds that if they go forward too highly, they could concede a goal. You know what I mean? So it's a weird one, guys. But let's hear what Vegeta has to say when he comes in because I think he has a slightly different view. 37 votes coming in so far. Which are the votes in support for Drex? Because I am actually not seeing the poll on the app right now, bro. To be fair, I'm looking at it and it's not showing up. I don't know why. I don't know why. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it and it's not showing up, bro. So 37 votes saying 19% are the wingers, 14% saying the midfield. Is it the midfield? You have wingers twice, bro. 14% saying the midfield. Big up, bro. Big up, broski. Big up, broski. And I guess what the other ones, did anyone see like 11% saying the defense and Onana? That's interesting. That's interesting. That is pretty interesting. And I guess the biggest vote is that everyone is like, they don't know, right? They're not sure yet. 50 Cent said, I'm not sure. Yeah, I was kind of expecting that one to be there, guys. You know what I mean? Because I think it can, when you don't see the output from the attacking outlets, even if they create a lot of chances, bro, I feel like it's one of those things where it makes it look like if it's not working, nothing's going right. You know what I mean? Jim Watkins is coming in. G Wolf, you are right. People do flip flop, and that is nasty. It's not good. It is not good. I'm very strong of the belief given to Ten Hag 4 to 6 game, maybe till Christmas, then sack or keep according to the situation. Yeah, guys, I think for one thing, I'm like, you should never rush into things. Sometimes you rush into decisions and you can't get it back. You know what I mean? There's no recipe for regret, guys. You know what I mean? And once you regret, let's just say that's it, guys. You know what I mean? Even if you was to get it back, it's not going to be the same. Yeah, Vegeta is coming in, guys. So, let's welcome Vegeta halftime. My brother, what's good? What's good?
Oh man, I was hoping to join with my PC, but it is what it is. You know what it is, bro. I think now that it's Thursday, I've filtered out the anger. I'm gonna say that the question. It's easy to say that it's benefiting no one, right? That's the easy answer to say nobody's is being benefited, right? So my take on this is this, right? You are right. We are creating chances, and the one thing I observed in the first game, at the very least, is that Onana is not facing 20 million shots anymore. So that much has changed from this. Can we agree on that? Like, am I being fair right now?
Yeah, be fair, bro. Fair enough.
But the only issue I'm having is that it's making too many people look bad at the same time. Not everybody can be out of form like this at the same time. That's nuts, bro.
Yeah, bro.
That's the
Yeah,
only thing. That's the one thing. Like Eric in those 2 weeks has to sit down with his coaching team, not just him by himself, with the team, right? Because they're doing this together. It's not just on Eric. He's not the only person coaching these players on a day-to-day basis. They need to ask themselves, guys, what are we gonna do that allows us to keep out these shots, which is good, keep creating these chances, but doesn't allow us to be on the back foot just because we lose the ball once. Because it's gonna happen, bro. There's no team in the history of ever that's had 100% ball passing or ball possession. But you need to set yourself up in such a way that okay, you lost the ball, let's recover and avoid shots on target or shots at all. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the biggest
100%.
task that Eric is faced with, bro, because we can't afford to have too many people's weaknesses being exposed all the time. Because that's when people go, hey, Eric, what's going on, bro? That's when people start questioning the system. So that's just I'm not changing my stance, but I'm being a little bit fairer on Eric.
I mean, bro, like whether or not your stance is your stance, bro, that's fair. I feel like your assessment is not too much different from mine. I mean, in the back of my mind, I look at it like, yo, some of these guys having a bad start to the season, but not everybody should be having a bad game. And not so many players should be having a bad game, you know what I mean? It's just that when I look at it and I think about it from a worldly perspective, I'm like, bro, could happen. You know what I mean? They could just be having a shit game. But at the same time, I'm like, these guys as professionals, bro, they should do better. Eric Ten Hag, you know what I mean? Like, while I don't think the tactics are entirely the problem, maybe some tweaking needs to happen somewhere. I mean, in the sense that, okay, we generally want to play this 3-1-6, but if we don't have the guy, or let us say this guy has to come off, so therefore it means that it will be a little bit suspect, slightly
Mm.
change it up. You know what I mean? I could agree with that even now. And in the same time, I would still turn around and say that's not too much compromising on your principles. Because if you tell a guy, yo, just stay back a little bit deeper, you know what I mean? So it's not that much of a situation. Like the entire midfield drop back 5 steps or something like that, so that you get a little bit of balance or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
something could be done. But for me, the one thing I would say is that I am a little bit frustrated with the fact that it's 3 games. We didn't lose all 3 games. I mean, the real loss for me was against Liverpool because that one hurt the most. The rival part, the 3-0 part, was another part that was like, yo, I don't, you know what I mean? At the same
yeah,
time, for the Brighton one wasn't too big a deal for me because at the same time, bro, I feel like we had the better chances. And when you see, for me, anytime I watch a football game and one team has a bunch of goals disallowed, they tend to lose or draw. You know what I mean? No
yeah,
matter what, it just something like it just dull the senses of the attackers having the goal or the frustration is get too great for the team. It's happened all over the place. So I was like, yeah, that was a weird one. But that loss against Liverpool, I could understand the reactions. I just
uh,
still feel it's a little bit too much, bro. I just
bro.
felt it was a
That
little
three
bit too
no,
much.
that 3-0 was a bit extreme. But look, like I said, this is coming from somebody who wants to see a change in management. But I still think Eric can change it if he wants to. That's where I'm at. Like I don't have faith in him, but he still has the chance. Because I don't think they're gonna fire him now, bro. No matter how I feel or what I say, right? So the question is, what can Eric do to change this? And I think sometimes we get caught up in the trying to be coaches, which none of us are. But there's simple things even us as people can see with our eyes. Like, bro, just close the gap in midfield. I don't know how that looks like from a coaching perspective, but you can't. It's like trying to drive a car with an engine that malfunctions, right? And that's the one thing I'm hoping that Eric will have to understand to say that you need to put some more emphasis on that. I understand we were conceding goals or shots last season, but I feel like you mitigate a lot of that by having a more compact and stronger midfield, bro, because people are playing through us right now. Because here's the reality, bro. If you force people wide because they can't play through us, our defense is solid, if we think about it, all things considered. If you're forcing them wide and because they can't play through us, you're limiting the amount of options they have. For me, at the end of the day, because the one thing I don't want to see in games going forward is an isolation of Ogate, because that'll be a shame, bro. Because right now we're all hoping that he helps to change the look and feel of the squad, and if he's left isolated, not even he can
True.
overcome that, bro. He can't.
Well, you see,
He's only one man.
you said something key earlier on in your points, and this is why, bro. As much as I was like, yeah, bro, Vegeta Real Mad, bro. I didn't expect Vegeta to be on the out train already. Right? I was like, Vegeta is a man always having some good opinions. And like, to be fair, bro, when you say it, I never really hear anybody say, well, Ten Hag, René Hake, Van Nistelrooy, all of them had to sit down and figure out what's the problem together because this is the new coaching staff we have. Everybody just say Ten Hag. let's hire Rude. Let Rude be the next head coach. But at the end of the day, Rude is in the coaching staff
He
as
is
the
the one of the
assistant.
coaches, bro. It's also on him. I think
Exactly. You
they
feel
all agreed to take the job, right? To say that we're gonna support Eric. They had options, both Rene and Rude, right, to be managers at their own respective clubs. But they said we're gonna go and help Eric be successful. If the team succeeds, yes, we'll champion them, but Eric will be the one who gets the glory. So why would they do that? It's because they clearly believe in Eric as a manager. They clearly believe in the structure and whatever it is we're trying to do. So that's what I'm saying. Them as a collective entity have to look themselves and say, guys, look, these first 3 games, not pretty. Why is it not pretty? And they have to be hard on themselves because a leader who can be hard on themselves, they allow their players to also be like, you know what, these guys are not living in Disneyland. They acknowledge their own shortcomings. We need to do the same thing as the players on the pitch. And that's what the group needs to do together. Now, this is me talking about
100%.
Manchester United, the entity. Let's forget managers and players. Everybody needs to get together at the table and be like, yo, as much as I'm alone in midfield, my passing as Casemiro is mad. Onana, I'm
Bro.
not getting down. I'm not getting down on time. And maybe Eric has to make hard decisions like, hey, Ben Dia, you need to play, bro. Sorry, Onana. I tried to put faith in you, but you're making me look bad. Rashi, ban your contract. I'll pay for whatever fines that comes with.
Big up the Drex coming in. And I agree with that, bro. I agree. I
Yo,
agree
what you
100%.
saying?
Big up, broski. I feel like Drex, you close out the show. We have like 7 minutes to go. After I say this, is all on you because you've been
Okay.
in the background the entire time. So you can just give a holistic
No,
opinion,
I in the
to the
background.
question and everything.
I think I like
I
it this
know.
way, Mark. I think I like it to be at the background. It's it's interesting. I watch everybody. I'm like, it's interesting. Shout out to Jim Watkins. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, I heard everything. I've been watching. Vegeta, big up yourself. I like the last bit of statement you made there, Vegeta, where everybody has to come as a team, not just the management, right? Not just the coaching staff, but everybody needs to be held accountable, right? From the playing staff to the coaching staff. And right now, I don't want to mention the structure. Maybe the structure might chip in a word or two to the coaching and the playing staff, but let me leave them out. Like you said right there, Onana needs to come and say, okay, what should I be doing better in situations like this? Like rewatch these games and be like, okay, what should I be doing better, right? Like twice now he's been caught out in his back post, right? What should I have been? Is my scanning bad? Should I be calling out more when I'm sensing a danger? Should I be calling out the left back, the right back, and should I be doing more of my talking, right? So even the midfielders, my passing has been awful recently. Should I improve it, right? Whilst it's easy to put the blame on the system, right? I feel like enough has been said about the system. We talk about the system from now till the end of the day. It's until the manager, I think they are not dumb or they are not daft to actually say we don't know what's happening. They know what's happening. They need to refine it. That's why I keep saying for everybody that's wanting a manager to leave, how about you just chill, right? If you think the manager is that bad, then he would end up leaving, right? Stating over and over and over again that you want him gone, you want him gone, it's not going to do us any good. Let's just, like what Vegeta is saying, look for, everybody needs to come to the table. I'm like, yo, what are we doing wrong? As football fans, I know we don't have much of a say in terms of the inside the dressing room, but all we need to do is just support. And that would be my cry. Just support, and that's it. Big up. Omo is here. Let me bring Omo on.
Big up to Olmo and yo, big up to G Wolf and them. Vegeta, say that. You should say that out loud, bro.
Oh, you mean my comment? Bro, I'm serious, bro. That
Bro,
as much as we
serious
gave
too.
as much as we gave David crap, bro, that man needs to sit down and stop playing whatever FIFA games he's playing at home and just watch David, bro. Like you can't even kick, bro. Let's forget about the kicking thing. Just save the ball, bro, and then we can work on the other stuff.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. Olmo, come on. Drex is, I think, it really last 5 minutes of his time. I know he's probably going to take 2 or 3 minutes.
Omo, before you go, wait, Mark, we have to wrap up in about 3 minutes because I'm bouncing.
Yeah, right.
I'll be done in 2 minutes then.
Right.
My thing is it's not about the manager. To me, the whole system is bad. Like to get the best out of this player is possible with these players. I can't constantly see this player do the wrong thing over and it's possible. Like, what you can do with Casemiro is different. What you can do with your wingers is different. Like, I could see what he's doing. I'm looking at Rashford. I said Rashford from year one to Rashford now is a whole different player. He's not running and shooting anymore. He's just playing scared. And to me, that shows is a confident issue. And when I look at a player like Bruno Fernandes, year one, he wasn't pressing past the striker. It's a key thing. Pressing past the striker. Year one wasn't pressing that much. When this whole pressing thing started coming into shape, it just started this whole season. I'm not even sure if it's starting the preseason. I'm sure you want to play your 4-2-4, but it was not a 4-2-4 press. After the Palace game, when Arsenal towards FA Cup final, it was not a 4-2-4 press. It was a 4-2-4 out of possession, but it was not a 4-2-4 press. So you do this 4-2-4 press now is exposing your players. And to me, it seems like he has to go back to what he did versus Arsenal, what he did to win the FA Cup final. Go back to that formation because your new formation ain't working. Go back to the ugly formation and get wins because either way, we're not gonna win the league. You're not gonna win you might win the Europa League, you might win FA Cup, you might win Carabao, but you're not gonna win the league. So just go back to your ugly formation and just get the cup like you usually do. I'm done.
Big up, bro. Big up, bro. Richard.
Big up.
He's up on G Wolf now, bro. I know you're not spamming on no craziness, but he's up on G Wolf, So big up to you, bro. Big up to Olmo, bro. Big up to halftime with BT John. Certainly big up to Drex, bro, for handling it to the background. Guys, I dropped my laptop last night, so experiencing some technical difficulties, not running some streams, but Drex helped him out at the same time when he have time. Big up to every single one who came in today to join us. Big up to you, G Wolf, Jim. Big up to Jim Watkins. Big up to Richard, Dunya. Big up everybody. Big up to Manu Tata. Big up to Luman. You know what I mean? Big up to all of you guys that came in. Big up to Football Fan Zone, Temba Banks in the building. Big up to M Advance. Big up to Sadiq as well. Big up to Manu Tata as well. You know what I mean? Big up to Niall. Big up to Shea Arsenal fan as well. Rasta Stocks, Brethren, big up to you, bro. Big up to Brendan Chappell, Adayeri as well. Kenny Fan TV in the building. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you so much for being here, guys. You know what it is. It's your boy, MarkN MUFC fan. And if you're not watching in the live and you're in the non-live section, guys, smash a like, subscribe, answer the question that was penned in the comments and the video. What are your thoughts? Who benefits from the Eric Ten Hag system right now? I think it's the wingers. Vegeta agrees. But does it benefit anyone else? But does everyone need to benefit? How can we improve it? What tweaks need to be done? Can Eric Ten Hag turn things around? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments, guys. Smash the like, subscribe, bro, to 10K is what KG said I should do this morning. We're on the road to 10K. 2K is just a step away. Let's keep going, guys. Smash the like and subscribe, guys. Big up to all of you, Drex. Cue the outro, brother. Peace.